Recording. Hey everybody. So we're just gonna do a quick little get together here. I've got a few of the admins and another league member from Ignite. We're gonna go through and start plugging some names into the bracket here for our first bracket challenge, which is going to span over the first 5 weeks of the Ignite season. Going to kick off this coming Monday at Daytona, followed by Rockingham, then Richmond, Atlanta, and we'll wrap up on March 6th at Las Vegas to determine the champion of our first bracket. So to
baby.
So to determine the 32 men that will fill these, or men and/or women that are fill these slots, I should say. What we did was we took the first 32 people that paid, and then checked to see if any of those drivers wouldn't be missing either Daytona or any of the other races on that schedule, and then that left us with 28. We have some other people that have paid, and we want to go ahead and randomize that list so we can take 4 people and fill the last 4 slots, and then those drivers will be randomly assigned different seeds, and that's how we'll build out the bracket. So we're going to go ahead and start with the alternates to fill the last 4 spots. We've got these 13 lucky drivers here, and we're going to go ahead and drop them in. We'll go and randomize this list 3 times. There's the first one, there's the second, and there's the third. So the first 4 drivers here, DJ, Alan, and Chad, will be the last 4 drivers to make the field of 32. And then, the moment we've all been waiting for, these 32 will go back into the list randomizer. And we'll randomize
So this is for everybody, so we didn't screw you. This is totally random. Who you get pitted against.
I'm an odd admin, and I approve this message.
I tell you what, the rough draft I seen of this the first time, I was like, oh boy. But this is fun.
So go ahead and randomize this 3 more times. Why the hell is there a blank name?
Oh, the first guy. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, jeez.
You done fucked up.
And
now,
that's how you know it's live, because otherwise we wouldn't have that. Who's the top guy? We lost Don.
Boy.
Poor Don.
All right. We now have 32.
We're sorry.
Instead of 31. Let's start again.
Again, proving this is live.
Right.
Yes. Please trust us. This will work.
This is number 3 right now, right?
Number 3, yeah. Yeah.
And here's the third one. So this is our final list. It's been randomized 3 times. And
there it is.
Drop these 32 into our handy dandy list that you saw a moment ago. But instead, what you'll see on your screen is you'll start to see these groups populate one at a time. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little shit about some of these guys for a minute.
Before you populate these, 2 come from each one, right?
Yes. So for each of these groups of 4, the best 2 finishing drivers from each group will advance to the round of Rockingham, or the round of 16, whatever you want to call it. And then they will each face off head-to-head, single elimination, the rest of the way down until we are down to our last 2 at Las Vegas, and we're crowning a champion.
And then where in this point is the fan vote? That's my only chance here, guys.
If you can get 69 retweets on your plea for a fan vote,
man,
that's halfway doable, man.
We will consider it and then probably throw it in the trash can, and then wait 3 weeks to tell you that we decided not to go forth.
That sounds fair. I like it.
All right. So our first lucky group will be appearing on your screen now.
Oh, come the fuck on!
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
That's a doozy way to start out.
What
God.
A way to start.
You ever see that gif of the young kid getting mad in his room, and then he takes the remote and just shove it in his ass? That's me right now.
Well, cool. Thanks for sharing, Stroll. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
I mean, Fun Horse, I know he's pretty quick. Rob's one of my teammates, so Rob's really good at plate racing. Just never can finish up front. And
I was going to say, plate racing's the crapshoot of the Mazda. Yeah, I know you and Rob really well. I actually don't really know Matthew or Justin, so that one will be fun for me to learn as the racing goes.
Yeah, so for some added context, we've just started up this new series within the Integrity Racing League family, and a good portion, I would say around 2/3 of the roster, or close to 2/3, is coming from an existing league that we decided to part ways from recently. So a lot of the guys we're really familiar with, and then there's a couple of dark horses, and they're dark horses mostly just because they're unknowns at the moment. They could be the fastest guy on the grid, or they could be someone that we're constantly trying to maneuver around. But that's part of the fun. Once we get out of Daytona, we'll start to see where the varying skill levels are. But at least for Daytona, anyone's got a fair shot at trying to beat out the guys in their group.
I'm just glad I'm not in the first bracket there. That's based off of what usually happens. It's a stout first four for sure. And Calvin's going to have to find his bleep button now, I think, for the rest of these. This is a bonus taking to be able to finish this out.
Before we reveal the second group of four, Gael, which person would you least want to face off against at Rockingham? If you're in this group and you made it through to the second round, who would you least want to go up against head to head?
Of these four, just in general.
Of these four right here.
Should I pull up my stats at Rockingham?
I was gonna say I don't know. I haven't raced with any of these guys at Rockingham. I feel like I mean I know Stroll's freaking fast everywhere. So I mean, like I said, unfortunately, I don't really only know two of the four, so it's not very fair to Michael or Justin. But honestly, it'd be a toss up between Rob and Michael. Like I said, with racing with both of them at multiple tracks. Yeah, I'm gonna be in trouble with either of them. So I'm gonna be rooting for some trouble at Daytona if I have to pair up against them right afterwards.
Jacob,
sorry, bud.
Jacob, how about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same lines as the guy. I've raced with Matthew a little bit in ELE, and he's very stout. But like I said, at Daytona, it's a crapshoot. So you get caught up in something, you pick the wrong lane or whatever, and it's kind of if you're not on the strong side at these other tracks, Daytona is kind of your place to kind of get by and try to skip a couple. And that's kind of the idea when we do this bracket challenge for Tuesday night. We always start at a plate track to kind of have it as quote unquote as level as possible. So, yeah, after Daytona though, man, either Stroll or Ackley, I'm not sure I'd want to tangle with and try to move to the next round. It's an uphill battle with either of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Michael. Any last words for your competition here before we move on to the next group?
Y'all better hope I get wrecked.
It doesn't matter what words you have. We're moving on to the next group. Here it is on the screen. We've got Cody, Nick, Chad, and Hayden Pistorius.
Yeah, so I'll start off with this. So Cody and Nick are our champion and runner up for Tuesday nights last year, going off of the same group for the B series opener, or the night series opener. I've glanced at a couple of these, like Chad, I've glanced at his art. These are all like super on the upper end of the totem pole, if I remember correctly, as far as guys. So getting out of the first round is going to be very difficult.
I think for Hayden, at least Hayden, not knocking his talent, but compared to those three guys, you better hope that something happens to them to move on to the next, or at least be one of the two. Hayden can have some speed at some places, but I've known Chad to be fast. I raced with him 10 years ago, and Nick and Cody are always got pace. So that is a heavy group to come out of there.
It's right on par with you guys on that first group. Honestly, I mean, yeah, it's like obviously I know Chad really well. We've been racing together forever. He hasn't really run any like NASCAR stuff in a long time. He'll do the occasional like we've been doing like super late models followed by like 87 cars now, the Arca. So I mean, he's not super rusty or anything like that, but this is the first league he's been back to for a long time. So it's kind of cool to see. But I mean, again, Daytona's the first one. That's where it's like really you can take all the other stats away because it can be your own mistake, it can be someone else's mistake, and it can all wash off. So I mean, and same thing. I mean, all of these guys obviously on the cookie cutters are always beasts. But yeah, when it comes to plate racing, I feel like Hayden's the more of the aggressive side on the plate racing. To me, at least, I'm usually the Dale Jarrett roll in the back. So I don't know. I think I see Hayden trying to stay up front and kind of control it.
Yeah,
as long as Hayden doesn't get neck coated. I know his last couple plate races that's happened to him, but man, this whole bracket thing's already off to a hot start.
This is already all the group of death.
Yeah, I was about to say, Gail, you and I are looking a lot better, man.
I'm feeling good.
We're getting all these heavy hitters out of the way.
I'm calling the next one. You guys are in together.
Probably are.
That's how it's going to work.
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and scroll down here to the bottom half of the western half of the bracket, and we'll go ahead and populate the next group now. Oh boy.
Ooh, there you are.
That's actually Kevin McGarvey. Where is he from?
I don't know, Kevin, but Tim Johnston is a monster.
He is one of the fastest guys with the most shit luck I've ever seen. And that is the only hope I have. If I make it out of Daytona and I match up against Tim, the only hope I have is he runs into his bad luck at Rockingham. I would say, from a personal standpoint, getting out of Daytona will be manageable just for my own skill set and how I feel comfortable at Daytona and in a plate track. Rockingham, I'm going to need a lot of help, and maybe get a more favorable matchup. And that's not to discount any of the skills of the other three people in this group with me, but
Okay, I remember now.
I know I wouldn't want to face off against Tim for sure.
Yeah, if Tim gets through.
Ely, that's right.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll say again. I mean, I know you, Cal. I know Casey. I don't know Kevin. Unfortunately, no knock on you, Kevin. But yeah, racing with Tim in various leagues. If he gets through to Rockingham, he's so smooth. He's actually probably one of the perfect drivers for Rockingham. I'd honestly put him as like on a short list to maybe win that race if the bad luck doesn't hit him, because he's just so smooth and just so fast at the same time. Yeah, Tim's a bit of a monster there. So
yeah, to talk about like an example of bad luck, I've seen the man get wrecked out at a league race in the lead at Darlington by a car just bouncing off the inside wall. Yellow didn't come out, and he literally had nowhere to go. I mean, I watched the replay 8 different times, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell I would have done in that case. And that's just, I mean, you're leading, a car comes off 2, loses their mind, and you're the one that's collateral damage. I mean, it can definitely happen in an instant. And I mean, starting off at a plate track, that's, the chaos hopefully will be at a minimum, but no promises there. You put 40 to 43 guys on the track together, and internet connections being what they are, even if those hold up, you still are going to run into some stuff.
Yeah, good job filling up the field there, boys. Too. That was impressive. That was some big numbers to kick things off here. So well done there.
Yeah. Any last comments on this third group here before we move on?
Johnson just sticks out like a sore thumb. If he can get out of Daytona, I know he got that wreck on Monday with the net code and stuff, but if he can get out of that bracket, that's gonna be tough. Rockingham will be tough.
Sounds like a little bit of a toss-up round. Like anybody could really come out of that little group before they.
Oh, for sure.
And make some.
It's usually I kind of Michael Waltrip my league stuff. It's like Talladega, Daytona's like where I have my best chance of getting top 5s.
Says the guy that won Pocono.
I was about to say,
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
All right, I went so many I forgot.
Wow,
Yeah.
I forgot I won a race like in the last 2 months. My guys, I'm so
Gael,
sorry.
Pocono,
Can
Brooks.
I take this moment to pat myself on the back? I apologize.
What year
I'm
is
so
it
sorry.
again? I apologize.
Adopt the nickname Long Pond.
Oh boy.
That's my porn name.
Oh man.
All right, let's move on to Group 4 here. That
This is
a fun group.
Mm-hmm.
That is a pretty
Nice
even
mix.
group.
Yeah.
This right here is a group I wish could somehow tie in Daytona, so they all have to race again at Rockingham. That would be so much fun to watch.
Don would be very happy if that was. He hates plate racing, so yeah, he would be happy if that happened too. Because I think we're getting into like your Rockinghams, your Richmonds, stuff like that. It's much more up his alley. But no, and they're kind of alluding to that a little bit since I do know Don so well. Yeah, if he can somehow get to the next tracks, he can progress pretty well. I think out of this side of the bracket. But just I remember Justin, from last year racing a little bit, and very solid driver. I believe was in the playoffs with the previous league we were in, and can put some good runs together. So it'll be a nice mix of, like I said, nice mix of guys here. Anybody can kind of move on from the beginning round and potentially have success going forward.
I think out of those guys, as far as plate racing, Stagner sticks out for me, who can, at least advance. He's always up front, knows when to bail out, knows when to go. But, it's Daytona, so bad luck can strike anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We know Tyler's. He's one of your teammates too, Stroll. So he'll be right up there in the mix as well.
No, he's not. I refuse to be associated with JTM in that fashion.
Ooh.
Don't put that juju on me.
Oh, I apologize. I'm out of the loop of the stuff.
Stroller, are you saying that you wouldn't push another Chevy if it belonged to that stable of Chevys?
Listen, when it comes to plate racing, I only help the people that benefit me. I don't care what you drive.
Well, everybody else that's listening, all 4 of you, please keep in mind that Mike's going to leave you out to dry.
Yeah. Probably. you damn right I will. If she opens her legs, I'm going right in the middle.
He's going to wreck his own mother for this win.
Right, yeah. Stroll will be by himself in the middle as the 2 lines of cars pass him on each side. Yeah,
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Every time I go up the middle, I'm passing everybody else. It's like... Now, I do need to find out the secret of that third lane. That was something.
That was something else the other night, yeah, for sure.
That was some shit.
I just need to not hit the wall if I'm in the third lane.
Yeah, that was treacherous, especially for
Dude,
our big day.
before we continue, Jacob, there was at one point towards the end of Monday, I forgot to say this, when we were lapping you, like Dinsmore, like dude, it was almost huge. Like you and him made contact, and you hit the wall.
It was touch and go. I
It's like
unfortunately had issues at the very start of the race, so
right. And I
yeah,
wasn't jabbing you, but like you were
no,
as high as you can go. But I noticed
it's
the
tight.
weather was gonna be. It was tight off of two.
Mhm.
Even for me, like when Calvin, when you were behind me, I was like, I kept having trouble holding it down here, coming off of two. I don't know if it was the wind or the temperature, but I did notice that like his right rear grazed your left front as we
Oh
were
yeah,
lapping you. I was like, oh man, that was almost big.
it was almost pretty big. To be honest, kind of go leading to that point a little bit. We found out very quickly for our media nights for Tuesday for the next gen car that weather was a big part, and it was loose in and loose off, and you're kind of all over the place. So, um, depending on weather, it might change how some people race too. So you're in a big field. The car might not get to be planted as much as you think it might be for Daytona of all places. So it'll
Really,
be interesting to see if that plays a role.
Well,
right, we're
gentlemen,
halfway through this.
we're definitely live because on my baby monitor here on my desk, my son is pissed. So what I'm going to do is
Oh no.
I'm gonna drop the other 16 seeds in all at once, and I'll let you three chat amongst yourselves about the rest of these groups. Maybe Jacob and Guile will get a kick out of the groups they get assigned to here in just a moment.
Yes.
Happy dadding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here is
Exactly.
the other half of the bracket, and just so you guys know, the rest of this bracket, the video link and all that will be posted in the Discord for you guys to view. And if you guys like this format, maybe we'll do a quick little chat about each of the rounds before each Monday. I don't know. Maybe
I like that.
maybe I don't want to commit any of you guys to your Sunday nights just yet, but that could be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
All right, here's
Let
our
it rip.
half of the bracket.
Yeah. Let it rip.
Oh, let's start from the top.
Ah,
Let's not look
we
at
already
the shit.
covered
No,
Kyle.
no, no. Let's go ahead and start right here.
Oh,
Right on
that
the
is.
top.
That's fun right
That's
there.
funny.
All right,
That's a whole lot of fun.
Not
discuss
not a
amongst
knock on Alan.
yourselves.
I don't know him, but I love being teamed with you, Jacob and Boomer as well. Let's say obviously know
Alan's
Boomer super
fun.
well.
Yeah, I've known Alan for 12 years, or
Oh
actually
my
it's longer
god.
than that. So, we've uh, what can I say about Alan? That's going to be a fun bracket. I will say my only downfall here is if half of the guys from Tuesday decide, like if he's close to winning, half the guys of the league will try to get behind him to push him to victory. So that might be bad for me, but um, otherwise, I think it's going to be an interesting group. Obviously, like I said, it's Daytona drafting and stuff, but that's an interesting group to get paired with.
That's a fun group, yeah.
Yeah, it's very fun. I'm interested to see what two comes out of that.
This will be the I have no disappointments no matter how which way it goes because
Exactly.
I mean I don't know Alan, but knowing you that you've known him for 12 years, it's like okay, that's fun in that side too. So yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
it'll be one of those ones where it's like I'll be happy for someone or bummed for the other, but yeah, it'll be one of those
For sure.
I think feel good groups in my mind.
For sure, very much so. Yeah, we usually cheer for Alan when we get in these plate races if we're not winning ourselves and we have a
Nice.
chance to help Alan win. That's usually what we do. It's kind of
Nice.
fun. So
I love how this whole thing is like. Okay, we're forgetting that like two of these advance, but those two that advance have to go head to head the next week.
Yep.
So like for a plate race, do you try to find that guy? Like, do you guys try to find each other? To help each other, like get ahead of Boomer and Allen, or like do you just?
So-
for me, I'm just gonna let the chips fall where they
Yeah.
lay, kind of thing. And,
I mean-
and I mean, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on where everyone's at. But like, these are
Yeah.
very interesting groups.
yeah, I
Truth be
usually
told-
hang in the back. So I haven't really changed that motto, especially when we have our bigger fields in a few years. I have a sneaking suspicion that Alan would probably be back there with me. So we'll probably hang back and see how the first half of the race or so plays out.
Oh, you're a backpacker for a while. Is
Yeah.
that what you do? Oh, see,
Yeah.
Yeah, make
See,
that three.
I've tried that. I'd rather just die leading than
Right. It's all
hopefully.
preference. It really
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I've tried both. Both work. Both don't work.
Yeah, I definitely go the Dale Jett approach, try to ride in the back until, like you said, until it gets maybe like 2/3 or so, and then it's like, okay, time to see what's what and make moves. Maybe think about the pit stop time to make the moves then. But yeah, I've always been one that just same thing, backpack it and just either try to make the big moves like right as we get to like the pit stop window, where it's like, okay, the inside line, everybody's starting to stagger, get ready. Okay, I've saved maybe a lap of fuel. Now I'm going to get to the middle outside, push hard, try to be able to. Because the thing is, if you got that train on the inside, if you pit from the back, you're going to be pitting about 3 seconds back from the leader, and then you're screwed if you have any little hiccup. So that's why I try to hustle right before the green flag pit stop opens up. If, as I say, I mean, knock on wood, we'll get one of those, but I mean, obviously you never know. But yeah, my goal one is to survive to at least halfway, and then kind of open up, and then see what I can do.
I'm glad you brought pit stops because for one thing, we're doing different on Mondays that we did that's different from Tuesdays and different from what we did last season. Is each week is a different fuel load depending on the track. So the plate tracks are only 70%. Some of the other tracks are like 90, some are 100. So tomorrow night is a 70% fuel load. So that you brought up pit stops, it's a 100-lap race. I'm pretty sure it's 2, maybe 3 stops. So that's going to be really interesting because you know how getting on a pit road can be really dicey, and there's a lot of communication that goes on with that. With a lot of new guys, we'll have to communicate.
It can make a big difference too. And if your group has a mistake getting into, pit lane and stuff like that, that could really set up. Or did you lose the main draft because of that? Is that the difference between you being the the head group, if you will, once everybody kind of stacks back up? So that's definitely gonna be interesting when you have a couple extra opportunities to either really succeed or really fail, unfortunately.
Yeah. Play racing, there's a lot of risk reward on pit stops. Big group, it's a big group entering the pits. It's easy to run each other over, either getting in the pits or hitting your pit stalls and so on. And then smaller groups, less margin for error if you mess up on entry or exits. So yeah, there's definitely risk reward on those, and that's what makes it. I like the strategy side of it for sure. But I know there's others that just want to kind of just do a 20 lap dash at the plate races. And you're like, all right, let's see what happens, and not worry about the first 80. But no, that's going to be good though.
That first box up there is interesting because
that's a beefy one.
I've known Thomas racing at plate races always hangs out at the back, and he flipped the script on Monday and was up front the entire time. Joe, he's always kind of middle of the road everywhere we go. So I know he was up in the lead pack with us on Monday. You kind of never really know with Joe. Alan Dobbs, I'm sorry, I don't really know how he races, but Chad is Mr. Plate guy. I know he's one of my teammates. Our strategy is always try to lead every lap and take every run that you can get. So that's an interesting group up there.
Yeah, I'll put a bet on it now. Alan, I think, is going to be the wild card for this. He, when we did our media day a Tuesday night, he was up front for majority of that race, and almost came away with the win, if I remember correctly. Once again, I was not at the finish, unfortunately. But
I hope Alan wasn't the one I made contact with through 3 and 4 coming to the checkered, was it?
That was Trevor.
That was Trevor, okay. Yeah.
Well, Trevor, I'm still sorry about that. I was trying to squeeze you guys a little bit, and I think I got a little bit of a bump as well, and then things went bad. So I'm not in that position very often. I had to get greedy.
No, I think Alan's going to be the wild card of maybe the whole half of this bracket, much less the 4 you got right there. So that'll be interesting to see.
I do see a mistake here that Calvin realizes they made. Kyle Cooper isn't here twice.
Oh yeah, we do have 2 Kyle Coopers.
Somehow the thing got goofy. So
we'll fix that.
We will fix that with somebody. I'm sure he'll figure it out. But back to
I think actually one of them. Oh no, actually never mind. I'm not sure who it was. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah. So the second group there, we got John Gervin, who's one of my teammates, Justin Anderson, Kyle Cooper, and Bernhardt. I know Bernhardt and Anderson have raced together for a long time in another league, and they've been here with us with John and stuff, and all 4 of those guys know each other well. I know Kyle has had some run-ins with a handful of people, and he's been getting better. But looking at all these groups, for me anyway, no one really is sticking out as a clear-cut advantage in these last 3 anyway. Gael, how do you feel about Boomer being in the broadcast booth with you, and now he's in the group with you here?
I feel like Boomer's gonna have fun with that. I have a feeling. I think our group's gonna be the one where we rib each other the most, because, like I said, I know Boomer super well. As I'm getting to know Jacob pretty well as well, and I think Jacob, you and Boomer know each other well. And again, with you and Alan, the 12-year relationship. So I feel like that's the group. I think it's going to be Jacob and Alan probably ribbing each other back and forth, and then Boomer and I kind of doing the same thing. But honestly, truth be told, like tomorrow morning, I'll wake up, I won't remember who's in my group, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Well,
But no,
it'll get posted, so you
Yeah.
can just check
That's
it out beforehand.
yeah, I'll have to like paste it or something so I can have it handy. But honestly, though, yeah, during the race, though, I won't have been watching that. I'll just be trying to get the best results I can, hoping I make it to the end and have a chance for like a top 5, top 10. And selfishly, if I can be in the same position I was last Monday, I want to do that again, but a little less greedy this time, because that was a lot of fun having a chance to go for the win there. But yeah, I mean, I'm jumping back up to that Jonathan, Justin, Kyle, and Brandon. Like I said, we'll have to figure out where Kyle Cooper, which one he's going to be, and I'm assuming we'll keep him in that one and change the bottom one. But yeah, I mean, I know Justin fairly well through Steel Horse, but again, it's Daytona. It's just really it's the crapshoot. I mean, it's like the playoffs. It's you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So that leaves what? Carl, Don, Daniel, and to be determined.
To be determined. Yeah.
Yeah.
Them guys.
I love all three of them.
I do too. I know all three of them typically don't get to the front on plate tracks, or so it's be interesting to see how well they race each other. Now, like you said, I'm not going to be worried about this bracket while I'm in the race either. I'll just check it out and see how I did afterwards. I don't want to have too much on my mind, because plate racing is hectic enough. And
Yeah.
so, but this is interesting, and I hope I'll be interested in seeing how this whole bracket thing plays out.
And I'm looking at those three and saying like that's actually I might actually kind of tie that one with the group with myself and Jacob and William there, or Boomer, I should say. Sorry, Boomer. Because same thing. Like I've known Carl now for a while, racing with him, and then obviously Don. I've known him for way too long. Actually, with the whole 20th anniversary of NASCAR 2003, it kind of reminds you of like who you've known for so long through sim racing, and Don's definitely towards the top of that list. And then recently, I say Daniel and I, we like to kind of go back and forth at each other just for fun. So that's gonna be a fun one for me. I say that'll definitely be, I think, the one that I peanut gallery on. In that one, I think that's gonna be fun with those three. And then letting Calvin know, so he's aware of the hiccup, so he knows what the fix is. Sounds like, so he'll work his magic.
Well, that's an interesting point too. You kind of want to pay attention to, like in our case, Kyle, it's going to be the group under us is who we're facing later on if we are lucky enough.
Oh, that's true.
To.
That's who we're going to go up against if we can make it through.
Yeah, so it's you're in some ways you're kind of cheering on to a point, because if you you make it past the first round or whatever, you might be seeing these people later on.
Yeah.
So you might not be cheering but so hard later. But
so how are you at Rockingham, Jacob?
Well, it's been a while. Actually, the funny part is I did some next gen testing there not too long, earlier this week actually. I love those type of tracks. Like the more of the challenge, the more I like it. So I feel like that'll kind of at a fit for me. But Rockingham's a challenging track. Just I kind of look at it the same vein as like a Darlington, where you have to race the racetrack first.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I know it's cliche to say, and you guys have heard it all the time, but
it's right though for those.
Yeah, if you get caught up in say you and I make it to the next round, for example, if I get caught up trying to race you or race somebody else on the track or whatever, I'm going to have it in the wall, because like especially off of 2, you can hit that wall off of 2 so easy, or just clip the inside of turn 2, like the apron part there, and de-wedge the car enough to loop it off of 2 in a heartbeat. And that's Xfinity, next gen, whatever. So that's going to be that's my wild card. Other than Daytona, obviously, for its just being Daytona. I think that Rockingham race is going to be a wild card, just because we haven't been. I don't think either of our series that we've been in recently have been there in a while. And it's just different, man. It's not your cookie cutter track. It's not it's unique. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how that kind of pans out if we're able to kind of push on.
Yeah.
It looks like we've got an update to that.
Yep. I was back and forth with Calvin. So yeah. So Adam Wood is the final edition that we missed initially. So apologies on that one, Adam. And that's a big hitter right there to jump in there late. So I'll say he's a big addition to those three there. So he's, I wouldn't say favorite again Daytona, but if he can get through though, I would actually he'd be one that I would look at putting towards getting through a couple rounds, because he's pretty damn quick.
He's quick, but he's just like one skosh behind, like stepping over that winning threshold, if you know what I mean. Like he's there, but like he just hasn't like taken that next step to to being in the top 5 consistently, from what I've seen anyway. As far as out of that group, with him and a couple other guys, he's there, but he was right in the mix the entire race on Monday, and I expect him to be up in there on tomorrow night too.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going back to the racetrack. I'm jumping a week to Rockingham, but like I said with Darlington, Rockingham's super abrasive. And what you said though, you start focusing on somebody else, and it's that's me to a T. When I'm like full on focus, like okay, just do your thing. If someone's faster than you, let them by in the straight, so on and so forth. But then when you're like, it's a point where like, okay, I need to keep the spot, or I feel like I'm faster. I need to get around the sky. Never fails. Like hit the wall out of 2 out of 4, just some stupid mistake. And so, that's going to be. I'm gonna have to really stay on my toes and kind of just even if I don't make this next round, like I'm gonna have to just tell myself like, hey, just take the top 15, 20, whatever it may be at the time, and just go on and don't fall into the 25, 30s.
Yeah, my thing
Rockingham is sorry. The secret to Rockingham is ripping the bottom, but getting off 2 is key. Yeah. You have to not wash out and smack the wall. Just getting off turn 2 is so treacherous.
Yeah, I think going back to your point too, Gael, is like my biggest deficit, and it's probably going to creep up in Rockingham, is if you get caught up trying to pass somebody because hey, I'm faster, you spend 5-10 laps or whatever, and you burn all your crap up trying to make one pass, and like in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of probably inconsequential. But if you get a 50-lap run or something, it's going to kill you on the back end of a run, and you got 5 people pass you for the one spot that you were trying to gain at the first 10 laps of a run. So that's going to be real interesting to see how that kind of pans out as we progress through the bracket.
Yeah, it's true. And so say it was unfortunately we're scrolled down just a tiny bit too low, but I want to say it was after Rockham was Richmond, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it's Richmond and Vegas, I think is how that, or Atlanta and then Vegas or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I say Richmond would definitely be a struggle bus for me. I'm not a very good short tracker, but if I get through those, I'd be pumped for Atlanta and Vegas because I enjoy me some cookie cutters.
Yeah, if I can get through Daytona, the next 2 races are kind of in my wheelhouse, and then I can manage the other 2, but it's
Yeah, sorry. So I'm gonna root for Boomer and Allen then for my group along with me. Then okay, got it.
Yeah,
that's why every bracket starts off with a plate race so that
level playing field, man.
Right.
Nah,
this was Jay's idea, right? How long have you guys been doing the brackets here?
We've been we do 2 types of quote unquote brackets. The one, I should say that this bracket we've been doing probably 5-6 years now, something like that. And so we do it 3 or 4 times a year, and basically just whoever, once we get past this grouping here, whoever's the top 32 in points is who we usually put in there. But I've seen there's been we go to a plate track first, and you drop the guy who you think's going to win or whatever, whether it be me or like a Cody that comes to mind. You've got to get through that first week. I think once you get past the first week and things kind of become a little bit more predictable. But it's all about the first week. And Jay does a really nice job with putting the brackets. We'll have one for Tuesday night too at the start of the season. It's just getting past that first week somehow, avoiding the wrecks and all that stuff. And then just going on and seeing how you can do from there. The other thing I will mention, nothing to do with this, but we do have when March rolls, or April, I guess, our selection Sunday bracket is what we do. It's the other thing that popped in my head. We've had a where we basically do the normal basketball brackets for any of you who are interested in that, and then whoever wins gets to choose the other people's car for Talladega. So at one point there was a bunch of us running a Taylor Swift scheme around Talladega on a broadcast race, which is just fantastic.
That's disgusting.
That sounds like a good time.
I'm
all
worst,
here for it.
Yeah, the worst possible scheme we can come at. I think one year was Hello Kitty. Yeah, it was great.
That's right up my wheelhouse. I wouldn't mind either driving it or finding one to embarrass everybody in.
Yeah, so we try to have fun with it, but no, the brackets are a really cool deal that Jay's done for a few years now, and like I said, it's good to. I think it's a nice touch to have here over in the next Ignite series to kind of add a different dynamic to what you guys have going on over here.
Yeah, and I believe I'm not gonna don't want to be quoted on this, but I think I believe the winner of this bracket, I think we're gonna adopt the same thing that you guys do, and next season would be a free charter or something of that nature.
Well, it's in your
Um,
budget, so I saw your budget earlier this week. It was in your budget, so I think that's the plan. And
yeah,
that's what we do for Tuesday night too. Is
I
we
wasn't
have to-
1,000% sure on what the actual reward for winning this bracket is, but I know it was something to do with maybe getting your entry fee back, or you're locked in for next season, or some other shit like that. If anybody was wondering what this is actually for, it's not just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, we do free or I say free. Jay pays for the charter for next year is how we do it for Tuesday night, but he does that out of the generosity of his heart. So which is awfully nice of him, obviously. But that's how we do it on our side. I know you guys have it budgeted to basically the equivalent of now whether you want to apply it to this year, next season, however you want to do it, that's fine. But I think that's how you guys have it set up.
The advantages of setting up the server early was I just went back in there to double check some things, and I for some reason had the Toyotas having no extra tire sets, so I fixed it.
Oh man.
I'll try to remember to look over the stuff before as well. But being creating races as well for one of my dad's leagues. Yeah, I feel the stress of that when it's like triple, quadruple checking. Like, oh, please be right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's part of the gig.
Yeah, I just don't want to do it out of the gate.
Oh yeah, no, I hear you. That's where I always pull the like, oh, you guys forgot the faster pairs, and everybody freaks out and looks, and it's like, oh no, we're good, okay. Everything looks good to me. I can confirm fast repairs are on 0.
Look at you going there being a guy.
Yeah, everything looks solid to me. 100 laps, 120 minutes. I forgot about the if we need to get into the heat racing.
Yeah, just because of the
you'll have to remind him though with the heat race. That means the grid's going to be 1 minute, not 2 minutes. So they're going to have to join up quick once it's time to roll.
Oh, see, that's information that isn't provided when you set these things up.
No, they did not tell you. I know this through another league that does the heat racing. So yeah, I can at least give you that heads up to warn people about. That way they don't make sure they get their breaks in at the right time.
If I forget to mention that tomorrow, you can plug it right in.
I'll try to remember with myself as well.
Yeah, it's heat racing in air quotes.
Yes.
Yeah. So not actually heat racing, but it's to allow as many. Like I said, the whole goal is to allow as many people the opportunity to race as possible. Which, based off, I think we had this conversation before we went live here earlier, Stroll too. Is we have I think for your guys' series, we have 46 people paid, and 4 or 5 people probably aren't showing up. So we're right at the number, right? So so we'll see. You might not need it, but just in case, it's there.
Yeah, it's a good option. Yeah. So that's actually, I'll say, but for me dragging this out, I'll say apologies. So let's say it was 43. There's no drama. Like everybody's going to get in. Mm-hmm. Do you qualify knowing you're guaranteed in, or do you want to start in the back if you're going to roll in the back, or do you worry about pit selection? What's the strategy there?
Qualify every time.
I'm. And I don't have any nice way to say this. I have a high enough ride rating. I know I don't have to worry about being in the far back of the pit lane.
Must be nice.
So I know out of the non-qualifiers, I'm probably going to be.
You'll be up there.
It's going to be mid-pack somewhere. So yeah. Say if 20 people don't sign up, I'm going to be the 1 through 5 of people who are 25 through 30th or whatever. Mm-hmm. I would say just. Basically, I would not want to have one of the first pit stalls.
Yes, that's where I was going with that. I hate those first. I should say, if it's yellow, okay, fine. If it's under green flag stops, it's such a disadvantage because you're having to get to 0 when everybody else is able to just drop it down to 60 or whatever it is. So I think it's a bigger hindrance, honestly.
Right, and usually you forget because how many times do you actually have to use those back pit stalls?
Yes,
90% of the season, right? So like I said, I would always forget, even if for some reason, when you have full fields and you have to qualify, if you're back there, it's hard to remember, oh crap, yeah, I got to turn left now. And you're going 60,
Yeah, the countdown happens real fast when you're not ready for it.
Right, yeah. I remember when they first instituted the iRacing doing the pit countdown or whatever, I would go into the pit, and we had a bigger pit. I think it was actually in the league we ran last year, and it wasn't 10 stalls away. It was 3 stalls away, 2, 1. It's like, oh crap, hang a left. So now that it really is a big deal. Honestly, I think not to as much of an extent, but also if you do have the other end on a green flag pit stop, you got guys who are going 55, 60 miles an hour, and you're just spinning your tires. If you're pit 1, pit 2, or whatever, that's not the greatest either. But obviously, if you're going to pick between the two, then you prefer to be way up front. But that does come into play as well too. Recently, anyway, I've always seemed to think we've had at least one green flag pit stop. Especially with these beginning of the season races, because hopefully this is the case tomorrow too, but most everybody is kind of on their P's and Q's, trying not to do too much craziness that first run, trying to get in the rhythm. So you usually have a green flag pit stop somewhere during that race. And so it's going to be, and we talked about a little bit earlier, what groups group together, where are you at on pit lane? What is your strategy? Because with the 70% fuel, you're not taking as long as pit lane. So do you just do tires or whatever strategy comes with that? So yeah, it's gonna be a different ball game, and you got a lot of, like, when we've gone through the whole bracket now, you've got potentially 13 more people to add to that. Some of the guys who did not make the list are very, very good. So yeah, you kind of throw it all in there. It's gonna make for a fun race tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. So even like I said, bracket aside, I'm just looking forward to racing with everybody again. To say the off season was quick but long at the same time. So yeah, I'm ready to have some fun and just kind of race, but enjoy hanging out with you all too. It's been enough of a break to get back to the regular stuff.
For sure, I agree. I'm looking forward to it. Stroll, you have any other comments before I assume we wrap things up, or Calvin just leaves it here in dead silence until he comes back with his baby?
No, I'm just ready to go. We've been working on this stuff since October, and we're finally here. And I just have faith in all the guys that we have signed up for both series that no one's going to be a shithead and put us in a tough spot, to drop the hammer one way or the other. And I'm sure we're going to have a good year.
Yeah, I agree.
It'll be good. I said there's always those initial growing pains. I mean, that's pretty common for a new league, but we've got a lot of people that are familiar with one another through either the previous leagues or other leagues that they've been with together. So I think as a whole, we all pretty much know each other. We're a small enough knit community. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, so now I think Calvin's going to have to clip this down afterwards because I'm guessing he's still being dad duty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you guys later tonight then, right? Haha, for East Coasters. I made the joke.
There you
So
go.
you don't have
Not
to.
quite there yet. Yeah, I had me wondering for a second because I was like, I'm on Central Time. I was like, wait a minute, it's not that time yet.
Yeah, it's midnight.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good night. We'll catch y'all tomorrow.
Yeah. Rock on, dude. Later.
All right, take care, guys, and yeah, look forward to see you guys all on track here in about. I'm not going to do the math about it, so see y'all tomorrow night.
Later.
20 hours.
All right, thank you.